My next guest was the talk of Canada this past weekend, getting the win in the main event against Gilbert Burns. TKO finish. Can't do much better than that. It is proper. Mike Malott back here on the program. Mike, how you doing?
What's going on, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing great, but not as good as you, though, Mike. What a performance that was in the main event, finishing Gilbert Burns. You've had a lot of good wins in your career. I imagine this one's got to be near the top. How you feeling just a couple days removed from such a performance?
Yeah, I felt great, man. Felt great out there. People were talking about the pressure all week. I'm like, look, man, I've been fighting with pressure my whole career, and you know, like my last 6 fights have all been in Canada, and I've done a really good job of adapting to the exposure in Canada and managing the expectations and what all the things that people perceive as pressure, you know, just recognizing how I can use that to fuel me and get the best version of myself out there. And I felt like I was that on Saturday.
What was the game plan going in against Burns, and do you feel like you executed it?
Yeah, I think sometimes game plans can be kind of overrated I think some guys really get into like, okay, I'm going to do this and then that and then this and that. I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to script this. This isn't WWE, man. We're going to go in there and we're going to figure it out. I know I'm a really high level fighter everywhere. I'm really well rounded. Had the fight gone to the ground, I'm confident I would have done well there as well. But early, I thought that I'd have an advantage in the striking, and so I wanted to test that out first. And I felt like I was the better of the two of us on the feet, and I was definitely landing the better shots, and he was the one trying to initiate some sort of a change, and so I just wanted to shut that down and get back to what was working. But I didn't have a strict game plan where we're not going to the ground, we're not taking this guy down, we're not going to clinch, any of that. I just felt like I was having success on the feet, and obviously we thought that could have been a path to victory. So some serious time was put into takedown defense and bad position escapes and things like that. But also we worked on me being on top and hitting sweeps off my back and you know, finding ways to grapple on top and potentially look to grapple as well. But defending the takedown and disengaging from the grappling and sticking to striking was another obvious potential plan, and that just is what ended up working.
You train at one of the best gyms in the world. You have some of the best coaches in the world in your corner. Was there anything kind of looking back that did surprise you about Gilbert after the fight?
No, not really. He hits hard. He can take a solid punch. You know, he didn't shy away. He's in there for a real fight. He's like, I don't care if, you know, if you hit hard, which I do. He's like, I'm going to try and still bring it to you. He kept shooting, even though I shut him down a few times. You know, he came out every round with the energy of trying to take over. You know, okay, each round, you know, I won. I was in control of the fight, but you could feel he's like, okay, no, this is the round where I'm going to start taking over, and I had to shut that down and be like, no, I'm staying in control of this fight, and I'm going to keep picking and keep widening the gap. But it was not from, you know, there was no conceding from him, and I admire the hell out of him for that. He was in there the whole time with the intention of kicking my ass.
How much did Jazz winning before you kind of give, I don't know if that gave you a boost or not, but obviously it was a nice sort of storyline sort of going into your main event.
I don't know about boost, but it's nice. It's a nice, like, okay, good. Like, I don't have to worry about that. Again, the focus is on me. It's a relief in the moment until my fight's done. The relief is like the biggest thing. I'm like, okay, good. She won that one. But we've both talked about it where we've been on cards before together on multiple occasions where usually we both win, but we've swapped where I've lost and she's won, and she's lost and I've won. But you know, the fight before this went out there after unfortunately she had a tough, you know, an unfortunate outcome, and just have to refocus and be like, look, man, that sucks, but that doesn't affect what happens in my fight. Stay focused on mine, and we'll be there for her after. And then this one, same type of thing. Like, good, I'm glad she won, but it doesn't affect my performance. I'm relieved that she won. Happy for her, but I'm going to go out there, have my best performance, and then afterwards we'll get to all celebrate.
And speaking of celebrating, usually I ask the fighters, what did you get up to? But we saw it all on social media. There's so many cool clips that came out. First, let's start with Pierre Poilievre, getting to see him, congratulating you, all that. I didn't realize he had a relationship with your coach until I heard him on Joe Rogan, but that must have been cool seeing, one of the, big names in Canada and political side of things.
Yeah, they're buddies. So it was awesome. So I got to see him, met him in Montreal very briefly, shook hands after the fight. But then this one, he hung out with my family backstage. He's a down-to-earth guy and easy to talk to. Just a nice guy. Wanted to watch some fights and likes MMA and likes that Canadians are doing well. So just wanted to be there to support us, which was an honor.
What was it like hearing your name brought up on the Joe Rogan podcast a couple of weeks back? I actually was listening to the podcast on the way back from covering the Seattle card, because obviously I'm in Vancouver, and then out of nowhere he's like, "Oh, Mike Malott," and I was like, "Whoa, that's so cool!" Like that must have been awesome for you.
It was awesome. Yeah, I'm at my in-laws right now, and my brother-in-law is the one that sent it to me. He's listening to it live. And so Brent sent it to me, and he goes, "Oh, man, Poilievre just shouted you out." And I thought it was really cool, especially because it wasn't like a natural segue. He's talking about his political career and how the last election didn't go for him. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I don't cry over spilled milk." But anyway, how about this Mike Malott guy? He's pretty good, eh?
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's so sick, man. That's like a cool shout out.
Yeah. And then all week, obviously, with the Jets, we saw a couple of them after as well, too. I know, obviously, there's ties with your brother and everything. That must have been awesome, too, that, you got a lot of support. And I love the line about like, "Hey, sorry, I had to use your arena for the night." I thought that was cool.
Yeah. The guys were awesome, man. Got to go get a tour of their locker room and stuff. And the guys seem to enjoy the fights. A bunch of them were like, "Oh, that's the first live fights I've ever seen in person." And it's always cool talking to anyone having seen live fights for the first time, but especially other high-level professional athletes, like they understand what it means to compete under pressure and to compete when it counts, and to have their job on the line when competition, in competition and stuff like that. But yeah, extra cool to see how they thought live fights were, because for anyone who loves MMA but hasn't seen any live, it's not the same. It's not just one's on a screen and one's in person. When you go to live fights for the first time, it's different. You're like, that is not what I was expecting it to be like. It's really such a cool sport live.
Yeah, totally agree. How soon after your fight did you get to talk to Jeff? Because obviously he's in the playoffs right now with LA, right?
Yeah. His wife Mel, my sister-in-law, was at the fight, and so the UFC brought the whole family backstage, my mental coach as well, and a couple of friends. And so Mel was there, and I was doing a bunch of interviews, and I chatted with Poilievre, and then we were walking over somewhere else, and Mel just shows me the phone. She's like, "Hey, someone wants to say hi to you." And so I got a quick chat with him backstage. He just said congratulations, and he's like, "I saw the UFC posted that you were in the Manitoba Moose locker room, which is his team for 4 years, right?" And I was stoked to see their logos everywhere. I'm like, "Oh, this is a good omen. This is a good vibe going into the fight. Good energy." And he's like, "Dude, when I saw you were in the Moose room, I knew it was a wrap."
Yeah, exactly. Good vibes.
Yeah, exactly. This is the only way this goes. You're getting your hand raised, and so that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, and I love that clip too during Fight Week with Sportsnet, where you were describing about how like you and your brother are both living out your dream at the exact same time. Like that was so well put together, and I know Aaron did a great job sort of asking it and stuff. But it is pretty cool when you think about it. Like it doesn't happen in sports where like at the exact same time two brothers are doing two completely different sports at the highest level. It's pretty amazing.
That's pretty awesome, man. Like I just fought in the main event of a UFC card. How cool is that? Jeff's playing in the playoffs of the NHL, yesterday, and then I think tomorrow they play again. How cool is that, man? That's so sick.
Yeah. No, I know. It's almost like a dream, I'm sure. Okay, so looked like you came out relatively unscathed. I know they keep using you on these Canada cards. Do you want to wait that long? Because usually I would imagine, if I had to take a guess, they're probably going to come back in the fall like they did last year. Or do you want to fight sooner than that? What would be ideal for you?
I'm not even thinking about the next one.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
I just poured so much into this fight. I'll reach out to them and see when they're planning. Again, it depends on, does it make sense to wait? Like, is it slightly longer to wait? Like, does it not make sense to put one in between? Then that's fine. I'm not in a crazy rush to immediately turn back around, but I'm also in a few weeks, my feelings might change. I might be like, "Oh, let's want to get one in quick," but who knows, man? Right now, not even thinking about the next one.
And same thing with opponents, I would imagine. Just got to do my job here and make sure I'm covering all the bases. You're kind of not even thinking about that either.
100%. Yeah. Just
okay. I like the honesty though. Hey, this is why we do these things. That's good. So yeah, I think it'll be, and you know what too, there's a lot of like, there's a couple fights coming up. We got to see how some stuff unfolds. I think your division right now, there's a few names that are kind of booked. So, I mean, things could change come the time you want to fight again. Right. So
dude, that's part of it. I hear guys talk about like, I've got some friends that are like, so have you like, you thought like your planned out path to the title? I'm like, dude, it might be like, what are you talking about? Like, this is before even, you know, my last fight, maybe even my fight before that. I'm like, dude, it could be 10 completely different guys in the top 10 by then. Why would I focus? Like, I don't know. Like, it just seems like, I don't know. People like to plan things out and have some kind of reassurance in that. Whatever, man. I don't think of it in that way. But I do think it's cool that Burns is right behind your head there, eh?
yeah, he is. Yeah, it just happened to have the poster there. So there you go. He's retired. By the way, shout out to the Winnipeg crowd. I think they did a great job kind of acknowledging Burns' retirement. And honestly, like I've met so many fighters, like Gilbert Burns right up there is one of like the nicest guys you'll ever meet in the sport. And that must have been nice too. No trash talk, just all business in this fight.
He's such a nice dude. He's such a good guy. We chatted a little bit in the octagon. I saw him in the hotel the next day. We chatted. We shared a shuttle with his family back to the airport. He's such a nice guy, man. And I have so much respect to him, man. I've been such a fan of Gilbert Burns for such a long time. Like, he's an unreal fighter. He's a super nice guy, but like, you don't tune into fights just because somebody's a nice guy. You tune into fights because somebody's dangerous and skilled and always shows up to fight, and he checks all of those boxes. Just also happens to be a nice guy. So yeah, that was cool getting to have some mutual respect, and there was definitely the like competitive, we both had that competitive fire. You could feel it. We did that stare down on Tuesday. It was all like kind of jokes until we got that stare down, and it was both like letting one another know, like, I'm here to win, man. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm not here to just be a nice guy. I'm a nice person, but I'm here to kick your ass. And I could feel the same energy from him, and felt the same thing at the weigh-ins when we stared down. He got right in front of me, not in a rude way or anything, but just you could feel that energy of him saying, I'm here to win. And mine was, no, you're not. I'm here to win. I'm not backing down. This is my house. And so to share that good energy with him, the good fight energy, but then also mutual respect after, and then to get to share in that beautiful moment with him in the potential retirement there, and get to have shared the octagon with him one final time before he potentially hangs him up was really cool.
Just a couple more quick questions here. I know that you've been kind of linked to Colby Covington. I got to ask you though, do you think he fights in the UFC again? The last time he fought was December 2024. He's doing a lot of the RFA stuff, which is, I know is great, the wrestling thing, but I just kind of have a theory that I don't think he's going to come back and fight again. So is that even something that's on your mind at all? I know you said you're not thinking of opponents, but just looking at the history here, it's been more than a year that he's been out.
I have no idea. You never know with guys, man. I'm not hanging my hat on anyone doing anything, I didn't expect, who's that Dagestani 45er who was like on an undefeated tear?
Oh, Zabit Magomedsharipov?
Dude, didn't expect him to hang him up, and just one day he's like, hey, I'm maybe the best guy on the planet, but I just don't really want to do this anymore. Cool. Like, you never know what guys are going to do, right? It just doesn't matter to me whether he ever fights in the UFC again. I don't think he needs to. He's got, big name, whatever. If he chooses to, and the UFC says that's your guy, cool. If not, also cool. There's a lot of big names. I think I'd be quite a bit ranked ahead of him. So I don't know if that makes most sense.
I was going to say that too. Yeah.
There's obvious still like name value there. Like, everybody knows his name. So if the UFC chooses to make that fight, again, I'd let them do everything, right? Like, you guys tell me who I'm fighting. I'm not a manager. I'm not a matchmaker for the UFC. I'm a fighter. I'm here to fight. You tell me who and when, and if my body's healthy and we're ready to go, then we'll go.
Last question before we get out of here. What do you got planned the rest of the week? Because it's all about, I'm sure, seeing friends and family, decompressing. It's a lot goes into these camps, especially a main event. So what do you got planned?
Oh, man. I don't think people understand how much focus and attention and drive it takes to compete at the highest level and expect the most out of yourself. It's one thing to compete at the highest level, and some people are able to compete at a fairly high level with distractions, but you don't normally see those people get to the highest level and I expect the most for myself, and I want the most for myself. So I really put everything into this. So I need time to recharge in between fights. So looking forward to this downtime. I'm at the in-laws right now, hanging out with my wife and her family. And then Thursday we're heading down to LA to watch the LA Kings kick some ass in the NHL playoffs.
That's awesome. Good stuff. Well, Mike, again, congratulations on the victory. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, any sponsors, any social media you want to mention, I'll give you the last word.
Awesome. Yeah. Skilled Trades College for sure. Yeah. Perfect Sports Supplements. Thank you guys. Thank the UFC for that opportunity. But the biggest one, man, my coaches, the people who have been here for me all camp, my teammates who, guys who came in to help me prepare for the fight, lots of great training partners, my team who's always there for me, and then my wife and family and loved ones for all the support and love and coming out to Winnipeg to share in that beautiful moment.